Hey there, I'm Jennifer Valor, productivity coach and your host of the Childfree Biz Cafe, the podcast where child-free entrepreneurs redefine success on their terms. In each episode, I sit down with inspiring business owners and creators, exploring their unique journeys, challenges, triumphs, and lessons learned. Passionate about the incredible fulfillment of the child-free lifestyle, we'll chat over your favorite coffee or tea in our virtual cafe. From entrepreneurs to artists, we'll uncover secrets to success, share practical tips, and celebrate diverse paths in the child-free life. So get ready for insightful conversations, empowering stories, and a community that embraces their child-free life. This is the Child-Free Biz Cafe, where fulfillment and happiness meets entrepreneurship. Today, I'm excited to be talking with Kimberly Winters, an international podcast host, vegan, and public speaker. Her expertise is in navigating the non-vegan world practically with a solid foundation and an open heart. She is currently president of her local Toastmasters club, serving as a leader and mentor while continuing to build her own speaking skills. Hey, Kimberly, thank you so much for being here today.
Hey, Jennifer, I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, so let's just dive right in. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I have a podcast called Did You Bring the Hummus? And it came out of a Toastmasters project. It was a podcast and I'd never even listened to podcasts before, but the project seemed challenging. And that's the whole reason I'm doing Toastmasters, right? To really challenge myself. And so I thought, well, this one is the scariest. Let's do that. The project was like 60 minutes of content out in the world where strangers can hear it. So I thought, I better talk about something that is meaningful to me. So I decided to focus the podcast on veganism. So that's what I do. It started off as just episodes of me sharing what I know about veganism, trying to use it as an educational piece, an entertainment piece. Then I started interviewing people. So now it's a good mix of me just sharing what's on my heart and me interviewing some pretty incredible vegans who are doing amazing things in the world. In addition to that, I'm also a vegan hospitality consultant where I work with restaurants, hotels, and resorts to help them either add vegan options or improve the vegan options they already have, creating an inclusive space for everyone to enjoy a meal, to enjoy a vacation, and just get all the good stuff out of taking ourselves out to eat or taking ourselves away on vacation.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because you didn't even mention that to me when we first did the coffee chat. So that's pretty cool to hear now. That's awesome.
Thank you. It's really fun. And it feeds my mission, which is just getting the word of veganism out there and getting people to understand it. It can be a little triggering of a word for some people. And so my whole thing is I love it and I think it's a really beautiful, honest way to live. And so any opportunity I get to share that with people in any way I can, I'm so happy to do that. And how this ties in, because your listeners might be like, why is she going on about all this? What's this have to do with being child-free? Because I'm happily child-free, I have so much time to explore all of the things that I want to. And so I'm constantly learning and growing and bringing all of these different aspects into who I am and what I put out into the world.
Yeah, that's cool. Back up a little bit. Let's share your child-free journey with us.
Yeah. So I kind of never wanted to be a mom. I definitely played with dolls and stuff like that and enjoyed that as a child. But as I started to think about my adult life, I knew for sure that having children was just not something that interested me. And then I met my husband, and I had a brief moment where I thought, we might make good parents. Maybe we could have a kid. Society just getting in there. And I had to really sit with that because then it turned out that, well, we weren't really made to have children and it wasn't working. And we did take a few months and we went to a fertility specialist and we got a lot of information about what was going on in our bodies and why the percentage likelihood that we would ever get pregnant was so low. And there was a moment of, oh, I don't even have a choice in this, it seems. When it felt like it was a choice of mine, I was empowered and I'm not anybody's mom, except for my cats, of course. And then when I kind of walked through all of that, and my husband had grown up always, even as a kid, knowing that when he got to be an adult, he was going to be a dad because that's just what you do. And he knew that he would like it. And when we were met with this, and by the way, I knew that about him, and he knew about me that I didn't want kids. When we first met, we were like best friends. And I said, I'll be your second wife. So you have the kids with the first wife, and then I'll come and we'll be each other's second spouses. And it was like a big fun joke. And then we realized that no, we can't live without each other. So let's get married and do the whole thing. I know, right? And we did that. And we had this brief moment of time where we thought, oh, we aren't going to be parents. And as I worked through that, I realized that so much of why I felt disappointed was because society had led me to believe that if I wasn't a mother, I had zero value as a woman. So at least I had the being a wife piece because that gave me some value in society. But not be a mother and never become a mother through any adoption or spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on IVF, I had to sit with that and realize, oh, I actually don't want this. It's kind of what I've been fed my whole life is that I'm supposed to have kids. After I worked through that, then I was back to being like free. I've got a different mission here. I'm not meant to do that piece. That's for somebody else. And so once I got back into that and really embraced it, then it was like, look at all this free time we have. Look at all the freedom that we have, all the things we can do. And I've been a serial learner my whole life. And now it feels like, well, what else am I going to do with my time?
Right? Yeah. I've already kind of touched on it, but how has being child-free affected your business, your life, your happiness?
Well, I'm definitely happier. And I know that because I can't know what it would have been like to be the mother of a child. However, I have enough people around me where I can observe the experience, where I can hear what they say about being a parent. And I just know that for me, it just what that wouldn't have, I would have felt like I was really missing out. It wouldn't have fulfilled me the way it fulfills others. So knowing that there's that comfort there, but then just being able to just the freedom of it all, it makes me so happy. And I do still have a full-time job in addition to all the other things I'm doing. So I have all this time and the ability to spend hours after work working on things that bring me joy, that fill my heart. Volunteering my time helps me be able to grow my business while still being able to pay my bills. It's for me, 100%.
Yeah, it's amazing how it's an interesting process each of us go through of making that realization. I only wanted this because society told me I wanted it. And then realizing it was a choice that you actually wanted to make is so empowering. I'm so glad your journey worked out for you, the best for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got the vegan podcast. Where does Reiki come in?
Yeah, I've got this whole other side of me that's all woo and fun and just tapping into nature and the energies of the universe. It started where I had explored becoming a coach. And so I went through a training to become a certified professional coach. And I went through an organization where their focus is, they call it core energy coaching. So you can coach anyone because it's about shifting their energy and whatever it is that they're working on. You could be a finance coach and I could be a health and wellness coach, and we could have gone through the same exact program and be equally as effective. So it was a pretty cool thing. And so I went through this program and I made some really close friends, and they're still my girlfriends now. And it's just really all the things that I learned so much about myself. Of all the things I learned through that program and the things I experienced, gaining these friends has been one of the best things. And one of them is Childfree as well, which is so awesome. So I started exploring this idea of the energies of the world and how we show up in our own energy and how other people's energy affects us. And one of my girlfriends, she started really tapping into that too. And she was going to do a Reiki training. And she was like, come with me, let's do it. The three of us as friends, that'll be so much fun. And so we all did Usui level 1 Reiki training. And so this is like probably one of the more well-known versions of Reiki. It really is tapping into that universal life force, all of that energy that you feel kind of around you, or if you don't feel it, that you've heard about from other people maybe, and you let that flow through you to send healing energies to the person that you're working on. So we did that, and that was amazing. And then I did level 2 because there's multiple levels. I did
Mhm.
level 2, which allows me to do Reiki through distance, not just when the person's in front of me. And then the same friend a couple years later I learned this new thing. It's called angelic Reiki.
Hmm.
Yeah. And she's like, it takes that universal energy and adds in angels and ascended masters, and you tap into their energy. Yeah. So, and it's not a religious related thing because that kind of made me go, I don't know about this because I'd only ever known angels to be like Christian thing, and that
Mhm.
really is my bag. I was a little hesitant at first, and she's like, no, 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 that's not what this is about. And so I did training in angelic Reiki as well. So I can do them both distance. One of the big differences is that Usui Reiki, when you're doing them, you have to kind of do different hand motions and different symbols. You have to kind of draw out as you're pulling different types of energy. You kind of draw symbols into the air or on your hands. And angelic Reiki, when you go through the attunement, those symbols are energetically placed in you. So you never have to create the symbols. They're just always there and you can tap into the energy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so they're both really cool. And I've done tons of different Reiki sessions. And at the very least, you really can just drop into a meditative state. And so even if you don't believe that Reiki works, it works because you can really find that meditation, that quiet, focus on your breath and just let things go.
Mhm.
It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really weary about Reiki years ago. And then my boyfriend decided to get 3 certifications in it. I was his guinea pig. I don't get it, but whatever. Sure, I'll be your guinea pig. And it's truly one of those things where you have to experience it to
Mm.
really get it, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider myself woo-woo or anything, but it works. It
Yeah.
definitely works. I've had personal experience with it. And
And we know
yeah,
even from science, right, that there's energy all around us.
right.
So you can't even deny that. It's just energy, and the planet has its own energy. And so you can tap into that and kind of let it flow. And you're right, the experience of it, because I kind of felt the same. I was like, well, I want to spend time with my friends, and like, I don't know if I'm really into this or if it's
Mhm.
a thing. And then as I was going through the attunement and the teacher is doing her process to make me a Reiki practitioner,
Mhm.
the amount of energy I felt filling my hands. And then when we were practicing on each other, the things that I could feel coming off of my friends was so incredible.
Mhm.
And I thought, well, I got to share this with anybody who wants it.
Yeah, and from a personal experience, there's he mainly used it for helping with pain, sore muscles, and things like that.
Mhm.
And so if I was hurting anywhere, when he would focus on those areas, it would either feel really warm or really cold. And
Yeah.
then it was a really interesting sensation. Not uncomfortable by any means. It was just different. And pushing it out and through the body and then needing to drink a lot of water afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just such a cool experience.
Yeah.
So, what advice do you have for someone thinking about trying Reiki?
I think do it, be open, and don't try to let the feelings or the thoughts where you might start going, this is silly, what am I doing, just let them go by the wayside.
Mhm.
Like I said, you can just tune into your breath and meditate. There's science behind that too, right? The whole mindfulness based stress reduction.
Yep.
So we know that so even if you're a person who really feels uncomfortable about the ideas of energies and things like that, give it a chance,
Mhm.
because I think you'll be amazed. And for people who are totally tuned into the energy, get ready for your minds to be blown.
Oh yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, so to be open, that's really the best thing. Yeah.
How do you tie veganism with Reiki together at all?
Yeah, not as much as I have in the past
Mhm.
as of right now, but I have talks that I do that talk about the spiritual energy of food. And I talk about that from the perspective of the difference between consuming someone and something. But also when I do talks like that, because they can be really heavy.
Mhm.
Veganism is about more than just food, it's like moral philosophy. And so we can get into some conversations that can hurt emotionally. We learn some things that we'd rather not know, that we'd like to pretend like humans aren't capable of. And where Reiki comes in is it can help us process all of that emotion
Mm.
and turn it into something that moves us forward instead of getting lost in that like dark feeling where we start to feel hopeless or what's the point? It's so much bigger than any one of us individually. How can I possibly make a difference? When we use Reiki to process things, we don't have to sit with it as long. And two, it gives us that kind of push, that energetic lift to see it from a new perspective. So that's how I like to
Right.
tie those two together.
Okay. Yeah. So you talk about Reiki much at all on your podcast then?
I have a little bit with guests who have come on who are kind of in that space as well, but the podcast is definitely much more focused on
Gotcha.
vegans and what they're doing in the world to make the world a more vegan friendly place.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what's one thing you want us to take away from our chat today?
One thing to take away. I hope that you are finding all the things that you want to do. And one of the things that I've experienced, the more I find other child-free people and even find groups online, is that there are definitely child-free people who have all the money they've ever wanted. They're constantly traveling. Like, so I feel like we're not all like that. Yeah, me neither. The expectation that every child-free person is just fully loaded with all the money and all the things and all the travel that they could ever imagine.
Mhm.
One, that's not everybody's priority. It's not
Nope,
mine. And
either.
two, we're all different, even though we've got this one thing that ties us together.
Exactly.
Yeah, own your child-free journey and make it yours. And when people try to make you feel bad, society tries to make you feel bad about not being a parent, settle into knowing that fulfillment that you're getting
Right.
from the choice that you've made. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
absolutely. That's actually one of the main reasons why I wanted to start this podcast was to showcase we're all child free, but we do different things and have different expertise and priorities in the way we want to live our lifestyle. So I definitely
Mhm.
wanted to make sure to use my platform to showcase that. So
Yeah,
you definitely hit the nail on the head for that, for sure.
I love that. It's so great. Yeah. Just a quick example,
Uh,
brother, he has one kid, and I love, 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 love my nephew, but I don't want that life. But
Right.
he always jokes about, my husband and I being dinks. He's like, oh, you must be so nice, like dinks, which is double
Mm,
income, kids, in case anybody else doesn't know. It must be so nice to be a dink. And I don't know. Also,
not in the way you think.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's almost angry. Like, oh, must be nice.
You made your choice, I made mine. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, yeah. This has been wonderful, Jennifer. Thank you. I never get to talk about being child free.
Well,
So,
I'm glad you've been able to talk about it. We'll have to talk more about it just like outside of this and
yeah.
all of that good stuff. So, how can we connect with you, whether it's your vegan podcast or doing Reiki or anything
Yeah,
like that?
sure. My podcast, Did You Bring the Hummus, is available on all podcast platforms. So whatever your favorite one is, I'm there. But you can go to my website, which is also didyouBringTheHummus.com. And there's a feed for it. So every episode is there. But you can also look at the other things I do, including Reiki. You can book a Reiki session right on my website. So the best way to get me is definitely through my website.
Okay. And I'll make sure to have your link down below.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you so much, Kimberly, for being here. If you enjoyed this episode, hit subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and send it to a child free friend. You can connect with me on social as Productively Child Free on all the platforms. And remember, you're not alone. Until next time, stay amazing and live life your way.